everyone, my name is Animesh and today we'll be learning about Azure MySQL. We'll get into a bit of detail how we can deploy it, what benefits does using of Azure MySQL provides us with, and how it works. So let's get ahead and let's get started. So basically, Azure MySQL is a feature. It's in a larger part called Azure Database for MySQL, which is basically a PaaS feature. That PaaS means Platform as a Service, and it's fully managed relational MySQL database server. To be honest, Community Edition MySQL Server Engine 8.0.2.28, and here the Microsoft is solely responsible for managing the infrastructures of servers, providing high redundancy, high availability up to 99.999 uptime SLAs. And SLAs basically implies the service level agreement. That is something that we are not concerned with as of now, but will be required if we are pursuing AZ900 or AZ700. So, what are the use benefits of using Azure MySQL? As we discussed, like 99.99% availability. So, Azure provides a high availability SLA for all of its services. That means they ensure that the user face virtually zero downtime. And we can find this SLAs or frequency depending from the Azure region guides. The second point comes in is the fully managed service. Okay, so fully managed service means like there is no upfront cost of installation, no hassles of routine, security, maintenance, and much more. The third point that comes in, the third benefit, let me mark it here like this. The third is that it fairly easy to set up and deploy if you are building our own server. Right, so within a minutes of Azure Database for MySQL, we can just go ahead and host. There are two types of basically deploying models. We'll learn in the further in this video. There are two types of development models. First is the flexible server, and second is single server. So for the existing workloads, we can use single servers, and we can also use flexible servers, which will give us more granular control of our database. Complete, to be honest. Then we can get intelligent insights as we have. Then we can get to know about we can get intelligent insights from Azure as their dashboard, Azure portal dashboards. We can get customized recommendation if there is anything to be improved to better our database performance. Then the most important point is that it is pay as you go, meaning we only pay for the servers that we are using, and we can easily provision the servers, scale it up, change the pricing tier or whatever. In any way, it is very friendly, customer friendly, and we can customize it in any way we want. Now, the most important things in the day-to-day life which has come upon is the security. So Azure does provide enterprise grade security, meaning it's very tough, it's very secure, no one can easily hack it until and unless there is a password leak. Even in such case, the Azure portal by default is very tightly and secure. So the enterprise grade security makes it more inclined towards the usage in terms of when we are actually want to secure our data. And it is elastic. It can do elastic scaling within seconds. It is the best thing about it. Like if we want to scale up our flexible or the single servers or any other servers in Azure Database part, not just for MySQL, we can do it very easily, and there is no prior experience or the knowledge base required. So it's very friendly. The last part comes in is a bit on a company side, like it's an industry leading support experience, meaning many companies are using it by default at organizational level, hierarchical level, and much more. And if there is any support that you require, the Microsoft team or the support team is always available around the clock 24/7, 365 days at some place from other You will always be stay connect. You will always be connected with them. If there is an issue that you are facing, it can be solved within not an hour, but within a day. In the same day, you will detect the issues and you can solve it. These are some of the benefits that makes Azure MySQL or Azure Database as a whole a better alternative or a better choice, to be honest, for all of our database needs or managing part. There are many NoSQL platforms, but those can be used in a similar way that we use Azure databases. It has much more features, including MySQL, blobs, storages, non-SQLs, Postgres, and such more. So we can actually integrate those things with existing benefits, as you are saying. And there are many more depending upon what kind of database we are choosing. So moving on, as we talked about deployment servers, there were two the types of deployment models. So this capacity requires almost no administration, right? And all are provided at the no additional cost. So therefore, the Azure allows you to focus on a rapid app development, as we can see. Um, we can continue to deploy our application with the open source tools that are already present or integrated in a platform of our choice to deliver with the efficiency on our business department without learning new skills. So there's Azure CLI, Azure. So there is Azure CLI, Azure Portal, and custom migration app connected with the REST API. So there is something called Azure Resource Manager, from where basically we deploy, build, create, delete, edit our current resources that we have made. And all these are directly connected with the MySQL server. So generally, Azure CLI is a common solution, a common platform to access, control, identity, and deployment notification, billing, and much more. So let's learn more about deployment part. There are two types of deployment models. The first is the flexible server. So Azure Database for MySQL Flexible Server is a fully managed production-ready database service designed for more granular control and flexibility over the databases and the functions and configuration settings, right? And the flexible server, the FS will represent it as, right? So here, the FS is basically the FS architecture allows us or the users to opt for high availability within the single zone that we have chosen and across multiple availabilities, so we can switch around. And they also provide better cost optimization when which resources should we use, how many tables are there, and such more. And those actually help us with the ability to stop the server, start the server, if we want to delete the server or delete the database, and much more. And they also support our reserve instances, thus allowing us to actually save up to 63% of the cost that is being currently utilized. So it is very ideal for the production workloads with predictable compute and such. Currently, the service support the service supported by flexible servers is MySQL 5.7 and 8.0. So I'm just gonna write it as MySQL version 5.7 and 8.0. The most recent one being 8.0.28. Now, like what when to use the flexible server, right? So it is best suited for the easy of deployment and simplified scaling purposes when there is a requirement of low database management and more Uh, Low database management, I mean like less backup, high availability and security and monitoring and such cases. The second case where it is best suited is application development requiring community version edition of MySQL with because it has better control and customization. It is also best suited. It is also being widely used to simplify the development experience, and it is very easy, and you don't have to uh, use or is required to have MySQL in your system. It's on a cloud already. You can just go ahead, start the instance, and use it as well. So it is a very flexible thing to have. Now comes in the single server. So basically, the single server platform is designed to handle most of the database management functions, such as patching, backup, high availability, security, minimum cost, and much more. So, in other words, we can say that the architecture is optimized and is optimized for build-in high availability with 99.9% availability on a single availability zone rather than the multiple. So um, it is generally best suited only for existing applications that are already leveraging or being used on the single server. For all the new developments or the migrations, a flexible server would be recommended, obviously, because there is a minor difference uh, in the flexible and the single. If there is any case of downtime or you want your database to be always available, and the backup is at the multiple places. So in that case, it's better to have the flexible server. So let's get ahead in our Azure dashboard, and we'll deploy one database and see how it's been deployed and what options we have while deploying. So let's go search for Azure MySQL. We'll select Azure databases for MySQL servers. Okay, so you can see right now I don't have any database for MySQL servers to display. So let's build one. By default, the flexible server is recommended, and we can definitely see why. So there is a latest and major minor versions update always, the IPO scaling, custom 1 hour maintenance window that we get better cost optimization. Whereas in the single servers, if we have already applications that are using single server, in only that case it is preferred. So it provides private link support, cross-region read replicas, meaning we can have backup only at multiple locations. So let's choose flexible servers and move ahead. So here it comes. So the cost is defined in the per month, that is 894 per month, and in that we get the normal storage. The storage is selected 20 GB, and the cost of it is 8.29 per GB. It's a backup retention that is going to build. So let's choose. By default, you'll get your subscription here. All you need to choose is make either a new resource group or use the existing one. So I'm gonna make a new one. It will be database or DB. Let's go with the DB. Let's enter the server name Azure. So the server name must be available. It's not available. Okay. How about 2021? Okay, so let's Azure 2021 is available. So the region we are going to select is EST West, and the MySQL version, as we discussed, there are two, that is 5.7 and 8.0 in the case of flexible server. So we are going to use 8.0, and as soon as we selected on 8.0, it by default brought into for deployment or the hobby project. Similarly, you can choose whether the size of the pieces of your database, whether it's small or medium, or you need the tab on business critical workloads or much more. So we are going to use one cores, 2 GB RAM, 20 GB storage, and 360 IOPs. Availability is one. I'm going with no preference, but if I go, it's either 1, 2, 3. So we can have one. And once if we have selected the availability zone, then we have to also select. And it's a preferred option to enable the high availability. Then this is the senior administrator account, right? So let's go with test 2021. Let's enter the password. Let's keep it same. Okay. So let's keep it just at the rate 2021. Okay, can't be unlocked. Azure at the rate 2021. Sure. So it's matched and the total estimated has been shifted to from 894 to 1059.88. So depending upon whether we want to network it, how we want to network it, who all can access it, only private IP addresses or public IP addresses, we want to include some firewalls or not. There are many more options as we move on. It's next tag and much more. But we don't need anything. So let's go directly to review and create. So here you can actually review what options you have selected, the total amount, the backup retention period. It will take the backups in 7 days. I have not selected geo redundancy, so it's not enabled. It's by default disabled. Public access and much more. And let's create it. So it will show you to configure IP address and firewall rules. But since it is public access, let's go ahead and create a server without the firewall rules because it's just a demo. I'll delete it afterwards. So we can see from here, it created a message kind of thing, like it's building. Now it's starting the deployment, and now the deployment is in progress. So within a few minutes, we can have a working MySQL flexible server with all the capacity and the benefits live, and it can be used for deployment models, production models, and much more. So here it is. It's been created in the resource has been created in. It is the type and the status is accepted. If we click on the operation detail, we can actually see, okay, this is the provisioning operation, provisioning status is running, duration 4 seconds, and so on. So within, let me just refresh it. I think it takes around 1 to 2 minutes to get the completely deployed. So within the 5 minutes, we have your cluster. So here it is, our deployment is complete, and we can see the next steps as well. Or from here, we can see the cost management, we can put the threshold, the tutorials, and much more. So let's go to the resources. And this is our server name, this is our login ID. Using those two things, and where we want to create a project using the connection strings or much more, and connect it as well. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys liked it. You got to learn something new. Hopefully you will use Azure, MySQL, and much more databases, all of its database, and try your hands on those. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.